Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Stoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You'll immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Stoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh every day. Combine all that on the crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Stoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue.
It's football time in Middle Georgia, and that means it's time for the Macon Touchdown Club. Join us this year as we kick off our 72nd year at the Methodist Children's Home at 304 Pierce Avenue each and every Monday night. Come join us for a night filled of football fun and fellowship. We kick it off September the 11th. The Macon Touchdown Club, honoring student athletes since 1946. To find out more, log on to MaconTouchdownClub.com.
Hey folks, it's Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. You know, there comes a time when we all start to look for a brand new or even a newer automobile, and as a consumer, your choices have always been limited as to where to shop, and secondly, what to do with your current car. Take it to the local dealer and trade it in for wholesale, ride around town with that ugly for sale sign in the back window, or park it in your driveway and hope somebody stops by and they're really there to look at your car. Well, that's where the fine folks at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue in Macon come in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For almost 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the alternative to giving your car away to the local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market the car yourself. The professional staff at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has 35 years of experience in the automobile industry, and they're there solely to help you through the process of selling or buying your next car. If you have a car and you're ready to sell it, let the folks at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em show you how to maximize your vehicle's marketing and financial potential today. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, the car lot for you. Remember folks, don't just park it, sell it. Give them a call today, 478-254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority, now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
Tonight's edition of Gridiron Gab is brought to you by Stoner's Pizza, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, Texas Border Grill, Kudzu Seafood, Cherokee Brick and Tile, Bill Harden Music, Pondmax Incorporated, Apparel Authority, the Macon Touchdown Club, BT Media Productions, and Middle Georgia State University. Good evening, everybody, and welcome into another Thursday night. Here we are live at Stoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. We are glad to have you with us. It is a big weekend. It is a big night. It is a Georgia-Florida weekend. It's time for the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. It is no longer ever to be called the Rivalry on the River. Whoever came up with that, let's line them up and shoot them, because it is the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. It is Georgia, Florida, and the Georgia faithful are pumped. They are ready for this weekend, as well they should be. Kirby Smart's got them rolling, and a young man from Houston County has also got them rolling in the form of Jake Prom. Chubb's there, Michelle's there. What's on the other side for the Gators? Well, we got a lot to talk about with the Florida Gators this week because they have got big trouble all over the campus, from suspensions to injuries to a coach that I'm not sure exactly what the hell he's doing. So at any rate, we'll figure it all out tonight. It is Gridiron Gab on a Thursday night at Stoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. Please come out and join us as we are live. We'd love for you to come try some lasagna, calzones, wings, pizza, you name it. They've got it, even dessert. We'll talk to Charles Crowley, the proprietor here at Stoner's Pizza. We'll also be joined by Coach Shedrick Resper, the head coach of the Westside Seminoles, as they sit in second place in their region right now. He's got 2 games left, and he'd like to close it out. We're going to talk to the coach in a little bit. Our Gridiron Game of the Week tomorrow night, sponsored by Stoner's Pizza. It is the undefeated Stratford Academy Eagles as they get ready to take home the Tatnall Square Academy Trojans over at Jack Baines Field, who got upset or beat last week by FPD. I won't call it an upset. 2 very evenly matched teams. It went to overtime. We'll talk a little bit about that game. 41-35 was your final in a thriller last week at Tatnall, so the 5-mile rivalry continues this week as we'll be live at Jack Baines Field on the campus of Tatnall for Stratford as Coach Faraba brings his undefeated Eagles in there, and they have got one fine football team this year, and it ought to be another good physical football game for the Stoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week. Our pick'em contest last week, it was Michigan and Penn State, and guess what? We had our second 2-time winner of the year, and it went to a great guy who lost his dad last week, and I felt it was really appropriate that he won it. He went through a lot of difficult stuff last week, Mr. David Keys. So congratulations, David. He is now the only other 2-time winner on the year, along with Russ Campbell in the pick'em contest. So those guys got a little bit of lead on the rest of you, so you got to step it up this week. This week, well, what other game could we pick besides the Georgia-Florida game? Now, do I think this is going to be a great game that's going to be hard for you to pick? Only if you're trying to pick the over, because I think the Dogs are going to Jacksonville, and they're going to do business Saturday afternoon at Alltel Stadium, but we're going to call it the Gator Bowl. And that's where they'll be, and it'll be another renewal of that old, intense rivalry. It's a border war, and folks, I've got friends down there already that are having a large time getting ready for that game. A lot of golf and a lot of adult beverages are being enjoyed right now in Jacksonville and Amelia Island and Fernandina Beach and you name it, all the points in between. So we're going to talk about it all tonight. Your phone calls to 478-550-0524. We want to hear from you tonight. We're picking Georgia and Florida. Want you to get in on the contest. We'll come back after these messages, and we'll get it kicked off. You're listening to Gridiron Gab on a Thursday night. It's Georgia-Florida weekend. Your calls, 478-550-0524. We'll be back after this timeout.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
I've always wanted this. You have too.
It's waiting to be unleashed.
It's in all of us. You just have to find it. Greatness. It's where your dreams and passions become a reality.
Greatness is where your hard work and dedication pay off.
Greatness. It's shaking hands with your future. Middle Georgia State University. Find your greatness.
This just in. A large storm in the Gulf has all but decimated the entire Gulf shrimping industry, with the exception of a lone shrimping boat manned by a legless veteran and a young gentleman that hasn't stopped waving at our cameras or telling us his mama's advice. Odd. In completely unrelated news, Kudzu Seafood Company, the authentic Gulf Coast seafood restaurant that brought the coast to Middle Georgia, has also cornered the shrimp market in Central Georgia. Barbecue shrimp and cheese grits, buffalo shrimp, firecracker shrimp tacos, shrimp po' boys, shrimp burgers, shrimp baskets, and Dr. Pepper, all on 3rd Street in downtown Macon. Stay tuned for more breaking news.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Stoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You'll immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Stoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh every day. Combine all that on the crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Stoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Stoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You'll immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Stoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh every day. Combine all that on the crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Stoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
And welcome back to DSBN's presentation of Gridiron Gab on a Thursday night. We're live at Stoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. Glad to have you with us. Of course, our big pick'em contest tonight is the Georgia-Florida game. The world's largest outdoor cocktail party renews down in Jacksonville this weekend. And we're going to pick Georgia and Florida for the prize package this week. And, man, I got stacks on stacks of prizes thanks to Charles Crowley. Speaking of that, welcome Charles Crowley, the proprietor here at Stoner's Pizza, all decked out in his gear, which stands for the Crimson Row Tide, baby. Row Tide. Well, you know what? Monday night at the Macon Touchdown Club, we had Brody Kroll's dad here to talk about the Big Oak Ranch. He was a member of Bear Bryant's football team in 71, 72, and 73. In 1970, so he went 2-2 against the mighty Auburn Tigers, winning in 71 and 73. Unfortunately, he got beaten 70 and 72. You remember that punt, Bama punt? I'll bring you a video. I'll bring you a video. But actually, you know, that game in 2005, when his son quarterbacked in the Iron Bowl, Auburn sacked him 11 times. I had a bumper sticker that said, honk if you sack Brody Kroll. I took it to have it autographed. You would appreciate my humor in that. Okay, so a little bit to talk about here, and I'll find my notes here in a second because I had some interesting things that I wish to bring up with you. Of course, let's run down last week's SEC games. In the East, Missouri beat Idaho 68-21. Mississippi State 45-7 over Kentucky. Shocker, we'll talk about that. LSU 40, Ole Miss 24. Oh, Coach O done turn them around down there in Louisiana. Auburn 52-20 over Arkansas. And the mighty Crimson Tide put it on poor Butts Jones by a score of 45-7. And those were the important games in last week. This week, the rundown, last week, Florida was off, Georgia was off, South Carolina and Texas A&M were off. Before we get to this week's game, let's talk about last week's. Shocker to me was Mississippi State over Kentucky. Kentucky was sitting at 5-1 in the conference, really the only team left with a numerical shot, in my mind, at Georgia, and they went to Starkville and laid an egg.
Yeah, I think he's still got a talent base to build there. You know, not quite as talented as some of these other teams, but I think he's getting them pretty close.
Well, I tell you, I mean, you know, look, Mississippi State could turn around. They've lost to Georgia. They've lost to Auburn. And they have lost that's it. They've lost to Georgia and Auburn. They could end up pretty good in the SEC West. In fact, they may be the third best team in the West. That's yet to be seen. Missouri, Idaho, nobody cares about them. Missouri quarterback's a real deal. If that kid can get some talent around him, he's going to light some folks up. I just don't know in the next 2 years if he can get some folks around him. LSU starting to play better, no doubt.
And you know they're going to bring it against Bama. So
yeah, and that's we'll talk about that. That's coming up. All right, Alabama and Tennessee. I mean, just a bad week for the Vols. They go into Alabama. Alabama's letting the third-string tailback run for touchdowns. Tennessee gets an interception return for a pick six. And really, that's all they did. And one of his teammates went in and helped him celebrate in the end zone with a nice well, let's just say he used some sign language in Tuscaloosa at the student section. That didn't go over well with the Bama fans, but when it was all said and done, the cigars were lit, and the Crimson Tide rolls on 7-0, and they were happy. Another impressive football game.
Yep, me too. I liked watching Tui.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's going to be something else to I mean, he may not play for 2 more years, but
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Okay, here y'all go. Y'all got to give this poor Jalen Hurst kid a break. I mean, I never. The guy's what is he, 21-1 or something crazy like that now? And y'all just browbeat him to death. Y'all sound like them Georgia fans on poor Jacob Eason.
Well, I think if it comes to a moment where, one team's finally just said, okay, you're going to throw the ball to beat us and we can't move the ball on the ground, he might get a shot.
Okay, so we'll move on to this week's game. It's Arkansas at Ole Miss. Vanderbilt is at South Carolina. Missouri hosts UConn, the Wolves. Why they're playing UConn, I guess, well, I don't know. Everybody's got one more cupcake game. Mississippi State goes to Texas A&M. That is an interesting game, and I'll tell you why more so in a few minutes. Tennessee is at Kentucky, and our pick'em contest dogs at Florida. Let's start with Arkansas and Ole Miss. Who's a worse team right now, Missouri or Arkansas?
I would flip a coin? Missouri.
You still think Missouri's worse than Arkansas?
Well, they got a middle school defense.
All right, then Vandy at South Carolina. After Bama and Georgia got through with Vandy, there's nothing left, I don't think, in the tank for them.
I think their confidence is shot.
South Carolina's got some folks coming back that are going to be a little better. They're getting well. They're still missing their big wideout, but they seem to be playing a little better on both sides of the ball. Georgia's got them down the road. Missouri and UConn doesn't mean anything. Mississippi State and Texas A&M, that's a big game, I think, because next week, this week the byes are Auburn, Alabama, and LSU. A&M's got Auburn in College Station. This is an important game for Texas A&M to keep the momentum going, isn't it?
Yeah, and Texas A&M or for Missouri to turn their season around. I mean, not Missouri, Mississippi State.
Mississippi State to try to maybe stay at 9-3 or 8-4 on the year. Tennessee and Kentucky, I think it's done in ball in. I think Kentucky's going to take that game from them because they're going to try to bounce back. I think Stoops level-headed enough to keep them from maybe falling.
Yeah, and they're probably going to be a little mad.
Yeah, and Tennessee had 2 of them smoking the old taters that got caught this week too, so they're off the team. Your thoughts on Georgia-Florida?
That's a trap game. So
okay.
Georgia better be careful. They better come out, be prepared, play hard. That's just like Auburn, Alabama. You know, you don't know who's going to win that game.
Oh, I know who's going to win it. I'm going to tell you in just a little bit who's going to win it. Okay, as we look at the settings in the East, Georgia sets at 4-0, 7-0 on the year. South Carolina sits at 3-2 in the East. Florida's 3-2 in the East. South Carolina's 5-2. They've got Vandy this week. They could go to 6-2. They're the only team after the Georgia finishes up what they've got to do down in Jacksonville this weekend. That is, you got a prayer, and they need all the help in the world. And I just don't think it's going to happen. Alabama, of course, in the West, 5-0. 8-0. The Auburn, LSU, and A&M are all at 4-1, 3-1, 3-1. So Alabama gets to breathe easy this week.
Yep. We're not going to win. We're not going to lose.
But then you got to get ready for old Coach O down there at LSU. We're going to come in and play Alabama. We're going to be tired. We're going to play them hard. So then you got to get ready for him in a week or two. Okay, so all right. So you got a week off. You got nothing invested. You don't have to go home and put on your Red Elephant Club T-shirt and all your apparel and get ready for Alabama. Georgia and Florida, I need a score from you.
I'm going to call it like it's not going to be that close. I'm going to say 31-14.
Florida?
Georgia. I'm just saying, Georgia, be careful.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, history shows it could be ugly for emotionally bad for them down there. I just don't think the Hosses are there, and we have a special guest that will be on here in just a minute. We're going to talk in depth about that. All right, finally, what we got going on this week at Stoner's Pizza Joint?
Well, we are glad the fair is still out of town. Don't come back
right,
for a while. This week, let's see, what can we got a 25-piece wings. If you have never had our wings, it's something you have to try.
I'll attest to that.
All right, we only buy the jumbo wings. Average size is about like this. We put our own Mississippi dry rub on it, and we smoke them for 3 hours.
Sound like a winner to me. All right, son. Enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoyed that high school football game last week?
Oh, man, that was a barn burner. I loved it. That was the most exciting high school game I think I've ever seen.
Well, it was a good game. We'll have another good one this week, and then in a few minutes we're going to talk about a man that is jockeying for big-time position in his region, and we're going to have Coach Spoons over from Westside here in a few minutes. That's going to do it this week. Anything else you want to add? War Eagle, something like that?
Roll Tide.
All right, get out of here. All right, you're listening to Gridiron Gab on a Thursday night. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk to Coach Spoons from the Westside Seminoles. We'll be back after this timeout.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Stoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You'll immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Stoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh every day. Combine all that on the crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Stoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
And welcome back on a Thursday night. We are live at Stoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. Don't forget, every Friday night, our Stoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week. If you're going out on the town, can't make it to the game, don't worry. You can watch it right here on the big screen at Stoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road in Warner Robins, soon to come Byron. It gets open. You can also watch our games at Texas Border Grill out on Houston Road. Mark Coley and the gang out there carry the game live every Friday night. And also Kudzu Seafood, our good friend Lee Clack down on 3rd Street. He's going to carry the game as well, 2nd Street rather, I'm sorry. He carries the game down at Kudzu Seafood, and he's got a 100-inch screen that he carries the game on Friday night. But without further ado, we want to welcome in a good friend, Coach Risper.
Hey, how you doing, Russ?
Hey, Coach, great to see you. Let me tell you something. There's not a finer individual in this town than this man right here.
I don't know about that.
I cannot sing this man's praises on a personal basis and what he does for his kids at his school. If you don't know him, you need to get to know him. He's a fine individual, and he and I go back a long way and been involved with the Touchdown Club and in sports broadcasting here and making a long time, and he's done a fantastic job with the Westside Seminoles. So, Coach, before we get to this week, let's go back. Let's start over. Let's start from the beginning of the season and tell us a little bit about how your season's progressed this year.
Well, we got out to kind of a slow start. We got beat by Southwest early. We also lost to Northside early. We won a game against Best Academy, and then we lost our first region game.
Right.
So right now we're on a little winning streak, and we're trying to finish out 5 games in a row at the end of the season, and we're trying to get the number 2 seed going into the playoffs.
Okay, Coach, so last week was a big signature win for your team. I know you've had some good wins this year. You've had some kind of heartbreaking losses as well. I know you don't like talking about them Southwest games last. I want to sit down with you and Joe Dupree and do that one together to talk about those 2 games. But a big win against a 6-1 Pike County. I think they were 6-1 coming in last week. A Pike County team that had really played well this year. Talk a little bit about how that game progressed and what happened in that game last week.
I'll tell you what now, they had a heck of a team. They, like you said, they were 6-1.
Right.
They were ranked number 9 in the state.
Right.
And they had the number 2 rushing running back in the entire state in all classifications.
Wow.
He had 1,490 yards coming into the game. And we kept him bottled up. He didn't break a big run. And we jumped out to a lead on him, and we kind of made some mistakes at the end, put the ball on the ground, and they drove down with about 11 seconds left, 4th and goal from the 1.5-yard line.
Wow.
And we stopped one of the best backs in the state, and that was a huge win for us because both of us were playing for the number 2 spot at the time, and if they would beat us, they would probably would play for the region championship next week against Peach County, but I guess we kind of ruined that.
Yeah, you kind of did. All right, so I watched, we actually broadcast your game against Peach County. Tell me, in the region, looking at them, I thought your guys really fought hard in that game and just made some mistakes in it, and you can't do that with Peach County.
Absolutely
not. You can't turn the ball over. You can't put it on the ground. You can't make an assignment mistake because it'll hurt you.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. They took the lead 14-0, and we put it together, I think, maybe a 17-play drive on them to make it 14-7. It was a minute and 7 seconds left before halftime.
Let me get you to pull that mic up.
Okay.
There you go, Coach. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, it was a minute and 7 seconds left before halftime, and we onside kicked. And they said we touched the ball too early.
Right.
So
I remember the play.
Right. So instead of going until half 14-7, they scored, and we couldn't recover from that. You know, they had the momentum, but our kids play hard, but you just got to play a perfect game against schools like Peach County.
Okay, so they're obviously first in the region right now. You're second in the region, is that right?
Yes, we're second in the region.
Okay, and then who's in third in that region?
Pike.
Going to be Pike.
Yes.
Now 4 go out of it, right?
Yes.
Okay, who would be number 4?
Right now I think it's Jackson.
Jackson.
Right.
Okay, all right, Jackson. All right, so this Friday night you got a little bit of a crosstown rivalry game with the Big Orange Central. New coach over there this year trying to put his footprint on that program over there after Coach Hicks left. Coach Harold over there. Talk about a little bit about what you're going to face Friday night with Central, and it's a crosstown rivalry game. So just like the rest of them that are going on at the end of the year, it's some things you want to pay attention to in this game.
Yes, first of all, they're very athletic. They are very athletic. Coach Harold's doing a good job over there and getting those kids to buy into what he's doing, and regardless of the record, it could be a trap game for us. It's another Bibb County school against Westside, and we all know they get up to players, and we
give your best shot.
Yes, and they'll play out of their minds. So our kids, hopefully, we won't have a letdown because they know that those kids are going to play over there. And we had a JV game earlier, and their JV team beat us in the last couple of minutes of the game. So they were all juiced up about a JV game, and rightfully so. I mean, those kids play hard, and they beat our kids. I think our JV team has lost only 2 games in 9 years. So they were juiced up, and we know that the varsity will be juiced up tomorrow.
All right, Coach, talk a little bit about let's look at your offensive side of the ball. Let's talk a little bit about what some guys I'd like you to point out that you feel like have contributed to the kind of season you have, and keep your keep the gel going right there on the offensive side of the ball. Guys like LaKelvin Clark, I guess LaKelvin's a 4-year starter, 3-year starter for you.
3-year starter.
3-year starter. Talk a little bit about your guys on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, LaKelvin he's the anchor of the offense. He makes us go. We want to be a run-first team. Of course, we try to stay as balanced as possible, but LaKelvin is a few yards away from having 1,000 yards, and we hadn't had a 1,000-yard back since maybe 2009. Robert Brown, I think.
Robert Brown?
Yes.
Yeah. He went on to Georgia Southern.
Yes, and we hadn't had really a big back like that. We had one, but he got hurt. Which was Cedric Hollingshed.
Yes, I remember
Cedric.
Cedric.
But he didn't quite make 1,000. So we're trying to get LaKelvin to that 1,000-yard mark. And we also have Omar Jones, who's a big-time receiver / tight end. He's 6'5", about 217 pounds, and he's getting some Division I looks. And we
big rangy kid.
Yes,
man. He can go get the ball.
Yeah, and you can tell he's a basketball player. He rebounds the football.
Right.
When it's up in the air, he goes and gets it. So we depend on those two guys a lot to make the rest of the offense go.
All right, Coach, can't talk enough about a young man we honored this past week at the Macon Touchdown Club as the Lineman of the Week. I know you've got – to me, it's always the guy in the trenches on both sides of the ball that makes the difference. But D'Angelo McHaines has had a really outstanding year for you. He came off last week with 21 individual tackles and some assists and a quarterback sack. Talk a little bit about your stars on the defensive side of the ball. I know it's a team effort, but some guys are standing out.
Yes, absolutely. We call him DD. He had 21 tackles. He's leading the team in tackles, and he should have well over 100 this year by the end of the year. He was a tremendous help stopping Sebo, that running back from Pike County. He did a great job. We're also led by Tavares Pearson, who just committed to West Point a couple of days ago.
Wow, outstanding.
Yeah, so he's right now he's playing cornerback, but he can play safety, and he's a 3.9 GPA kid, so he's a brainiac.
You're not going to West Point if you're done.
Exactly. So and he's the one to make the tackle to stop the running back from Pike on 4th and 1.5 yards from the goal line, from the end zone. So we depend on those two. They're the leaders of the defense right now.
All right, Coach. So the game 7:30 Friday night. Henderson or Ed DeFore?
It'll be at the Ed DeFore.
At the Ed, home game for you guys. Oh, by the way, I like the new white unis, the new helmets and everything.
That's an alternate helmet.
Looking good.
With the headdress on it. The kids love it.
Yeah, looks good.
You got to play the games with the kids. Whatever makes your boat float.
That's right. And they get excited about that stuff.
Yeah, they do.
And that can translate on the field for you. All right, so you got the Big Orange on Friday night. A win there would seal you up second place probably, or still have to wait till that last game of the year?
Well, I think it'll seal it up Friday.
Okay.
If we can win Friday.
Okay, so that's Friday night at the Ed DeFore Sports Complex. The 5-3 Seminoles take on the crosstown rival, the Central Chargers. And then one more game after that, you'll have Kendrick at home, or you on the road for that? You're at home.
We're at home next Thursday.
Next Thursday night against Kendrick to close out the regular season and then get ready for the playoffs. Coach, another successful year. I know you'd like to have a couple of those back, but it doesn't matter. You are where you are.
Right.
And,
that's right.
You got the guys in a position now to make some noise going into the postseason, but one game at a time.
That's
Get
right.
rid of that game to Friday night, and then you can go to next Thursday, right?
That's the way we expect to do.
All right, Coach. Before you get out of here, we want you to be our guest and enjoy a large pizza from Stoner's Pizza. So I appreciate you coming by. I know you said you had a radio interview to do.
I do.
You know, that old media, we had to get you to this new media first.
That's right.
So now you can go over there and talk on that Thomas Edison
there you go.
thing.
And take care home first.
Yeah, I understand. All right, Coach, good luck on Friday night and the rest of the year, and we'll be talking to you over the next week or so.
All right.
Thanks,
brother.
Coach. Best of luck.
All right, Russell.
All right, Coach, sit right there. We'll be back after this time out. You're listening to Gridiron Gab live from Stoner's Pizza on a Thursday night. Appreciate Coach Risper coming by. We know him as Spoons. Like I said, one of the finest men in this town, and you deserve to know him and meet him. And if you get a chance to, please do so. He does great things for his kids, and he's one hell of a football coach. We'll get back into the Georgia-Florida weekend, and your pick 'em and your calls to 478-550-0524. We'll be back after this timeout.
Go Dogs.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue.
It's football time in Middle Georgia, and that means it's time for the Macon Touchdown Club. Join us this year as we kick off our 72nd year at the Methodist Children's Home at 304 Pierce Avenue each and every Monday night. Come join us for a night filled of football fun and fellowship. We kick it off September the 11th. The Macon Touchdown Club, honoring student athletes since 1946. To find out more, log on to MaconTouchdownClub.com.
Hey folks, it's Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. You know, there comes a time when we all start to look for a brand new or even a newer automobile, and as a consumer, your choices have always been limited as to where to shop, and secondly, what to do with your current car. Take it to the local dealer and trade it in for wholesale, ride around town with that ugly for sale sign in the back window, or park it in your driveway and hope somebody stops by and they're really there to look at your car. Well, that's where the fine folks at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue in Macon come in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For almost 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the alternative to giving your car away to the local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market the car yourself. The professional staff at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has 35 years of experience in the automobile industry, and they're there solely to help you through the process of selling or buying your next car. If you have a car and you're ready to sell it, let the folks at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em show you how to maximize your vehicle's marketing and financial potential today. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, the car lot for you. Remember folks, don't just park it, sell it. Give them a call today, 478-254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
I've always wanted this. You have too.
It's waiting to be unleashed.
It's in all of us. You just have to find it. Greatness. It's where your dreams and passions become a reality.
Greatness is where your hard work and dedication pay off.
Greatness. It's shaking hands with your future. Middle Georgia State University. Find your greatness.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Stoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You'll immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Stoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh every day. Combine all that on the crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Stoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
And welcome back to Stoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. It is another Thursday night of Gridiron Gab, and it is Georgia, Florida weekend, and I could not let this go by without inviting our longtime caller and the host of Dog Deck Live himself, BB Dog, Brett Barron. Brother, glad to have you on the set.
Glad to be here. Appreciate it.
I'm glad you're here. All right. Before we get into all the festivities here that I'm sure you're wanting to talk about, I want to run down last week's games a little bit with you with Missouri and Idaho meant nothing to nobody. The Missouri quarterback's a real deal, though. I think if he can get some talent around him,
he threw it deep on us a couple of times.
Mississippi State and Kentucky.
That was amazing.
I was shocked.
Yes, very much so.
You had to have been as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Kentucky had everything in the world to play for in the East, and they went down and laid a big old turd in Stark
Vegas, absolutely. They were 5-1, man, and going that game and just got killed.
5-1. I mean, the only losses to Carolina? No, Florida.
It was Florida.
Florida, yeah.
Very close game.
All right, LSU and Ole Miss. Old Coach O got them turned around down there.
He can talk it, can't he?
Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Texas A&M, they were all off. Auburn 52-20 against Arkansas, lethargic in the first half. Unusual for them, but they seem to pick it up in the second half. Debate, who's the worst team in the SEC, Missouri or Arkansas?
I wish do they play?
I don't know if they play.
That
this
would
year.
be a good ball game.
That would be like watching paint.
Well, I know, but I mean, to prove your point, who would be the worst? Yeah,
I don't know. I can't get Arkansas. I can't figure out what they're doing over there. Auburn got Cam Petway back. He rushed for 90 yards and 3 touchdowns. Week off, get him healthy. This week, Arkansas and Ole Miss. Ole Miss comes in. They are 2-2. I'm sorry, they are 1-3, 3-4, but they've lost Shea Patterson for the year. Surely they can beat Arkansas even with a backup.
You'd think so. Was it his knee? Did he get a knee?
Yeah, I think it's his knee.
I think so too. That's why he's a very talented quarterback. That's a shame.
Oh yeah, and okay, Vandy and South Carolina. Alabama and Georgia just beat the will out of them. Didn't they? Got nothing left?
No, I don't think so.
All right, South Carolina's starting to play some pretty good ball. Keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, that's next week. And matter of fact, I forget who it was on Fine Bomb or one of these shows I listened to said that. Oh, it was not Booger, but the other one, the big guy, LSU guy.
Yeah. Well, Booger was too, wasn't he?
Yeah. Marcus Spears.
Marcus Spears.
He says South Carolina's definitely going to be our biggest test.
Okay. More so than Auburn?
Well, I guess for the East. They've already got 2 losses. I really didn't understand the conference.
Yeah, they're 3-2 in the conference, and they're 5-2 overall. They got to get that. They need that win Saturday. Missouri plays UConn. I don't know what that means. Everybody's got a cupcake left though. Tennessee at Kentucky.
Don't get me started.
I mean, what do you do if you're Butch Jones? I mean, you got your brains bashed in Tuscaloosa last week. It looked bad. Now you got 2 starters. Your star running back busted smoking the taters. Yeah. He's gone.
Yeah.
Was it a lineman or a wideout that got caught with him?
It was a running back and I think a wideout.
Wideout. Okay, both starters.
Yeah.
Kelly, their best running production back. Although he's kind of fell off the shelf a little bit after the Georgia game. He got to Georgia and then it kind of went away. I thought with him.
I was telling you, I travel all the time and I listen to ESPNU radio. Is all I ever listen to. And there's the D coordinator for Tennessee this week got a mic put in front of his face and he said some crazy comment like, "We're playing like the 14th seed trying to get the tournament." And old Packer, who's great on the 4 o'clock calling show, he refers to Tennessee now as the 14th seed. He's hysterical. I mean, why don't they keep their mouth shut? You know.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that Butch Jones has made it to the end of the season.
Me either.
I don't understand, and there may be some legality in his contract that kicks in some kind of money or something. Who knows if they fire him early. This week off, Auburn's off, Alabama's off, LSU is off. Alabama and LSU, I believe, is next weekend. And Auburn goes to Texas A&M, which will be a huge game because A&M and Mississippi State are playing. That's going to be an important game for both those teams. Mississippi State is sitting right now at 2-2 in the conference. A&M is 3-1, trying to keep pace with Auburn and LSU behind Alabama. I think it's big for Texas A&M because the following week they got a huge game with Auburn.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I don't know. All right. Here we go. Dogs and Gators. Georgia, Florida. The cocktail party's back.
I loved your comment earlier about calling it whatever they want to. They're messing with these nicknames.
Well, it went to.
I know political correct, blah blah blah. But
yeah, we went from the Red River rivalry to from the Red River Shootout,
Yep.
and then they tried to call it the rivalry on the river. And just stop it. Just stop it.
Exactly.
Let's have. Can we keep something traditional?
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I mean, we've got senators texting pictures of their private parts, and and we're worried about calling something the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
Exactly.
It's insane. Okay. I know this is a big game for y'all. In the great scheme of things, though, Rhett, I don't see this game even being close.
I don't either.
I mean, I really don't. We've got 35, 40 picks already in this game, and I've got poor guys that are living in dreamland and hoping something happens, and two of them are Florida fans.
I'm sure one of them's Dean Knappenberger.
Yeah, Knappenberger, and my other one, Lloyd Perkins, and I got a couple other guys, but I mean that's just guys trying to play the roulette wheel.
Sure.
Trying to win these prizes we're giving out every week.
You haven't done very well this year.
You haven't done well with it. You got close a couple times.
And you say that you got that many scores already. I'm sure my score I want to pick is already gone, but we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
I got to get you and a few others straightened out here on this score picking stuff. But all right, let's start at the top. Let's go season so far. Let's start there before we get to this weekend.
Lights out, 7-0. I went to the Notre Dame game. Still think about it every day. It was phenomenal bucket list trip. And that win is getting bigger and bigger for us, and certainly that 1-point loss is getting bigger and bigger for them.
Right.
They're now number 9, so both kind of pulling for each other.
It's great. It's great on their resume too, with what you've done, and
absolutely,
and vice versa.
Absolutely. But then most games have been blowouts. But again, we haven't really played anybody outside of Notre Dame, I guess you could say. Mississippi State was, of course, ranked decently when we beat them, and now they're kind of coming back. So all that kind of plays into it, how teams get better as the year go along and so forth. But I'm excited. It seems like we hadn't played in a month. Of course, we only had the 1 week off. But
yeah,
I'm ready to go.
All right, Goodwin back at wideout. He's healthy now.
I think so.
Okay, he'll be back.
Thompson's back. I'm trying to think who. Reggie Carter's back. Of course, Patrick's back off again for smoking, whatever you call it.
Right. Well,
yeah,
they're all doing it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But other than that, I think we're going to be pretty healthy.
Okay, so let's talk about. There's my lovely bride coming from workout. Jacob Fromm, your impressions with the kid so far. What do you see he needs to work on a little bit? What concerns you, if anything, about his game so far?
Well,
if anything, there may not be anything that concerns
you. To be perfectly honest with you, as a true freshman, not really anything. I mean,
right.
Yes, he's made some mistakes, but then everybody, he can't throw the ball. Well, he threw the ball all over the yard against Missouri.
Yeah, 300 yards. Had his 300-yard game.
It was Missouri, but, and what gets me is all the social media. These Floridans are talking smack. The DB says, well, anybody can throw a slant. That's been all over Facebook and everything. So it's fuel to the fire. I mean, Coach Michael Wayne, I mean, what planet does that dude live on? I mean, I don't know.
We're going to talk about him in a few minutes, too.
But, Fromm is very impressive. It's amazing that, what happened to get him to be the quarterback. And now we got Fields coming in next year, and we'll see what happens with that. But, yeah.
And Fields, I know we were on the air last Thursday when you were watching him, and I got to watch just a few minutes of it, and I was on my way home when he got hurt in the third quarter. Pinky got broken.
Yeah, it looked like it was dislocated, and they actually taped it up, but he immediately took his shoulder pads off. And Kirby was on the sidelines.
Right.
Hysterical when they showed him eating this monster bag of popcorn. And when that kid came off the field, he was like, the expression on his face was priceless. I bet he told that coach, he's done.
Well, I don't think it's major. He had to have some minor surgery.
Yeah,
he probably put a pin in there or
probably,
something. But
probably so.
I don't think it's as big. If it's those middle fingers, it won't be as big a deal if it is pinky or the forefinger.
But, running quarterbacks, they're going to get hurt, man. They take a beating. I don't care what level you're playing at.
Okay, so running back by committee, there's not a single Georgia running back, including Harrion, with less than 150 yards. Chubb comes in with 688, 8 touchdowns, averaging 6.5 a carry. Sony Michel, though, surprisingly, he's got 200 less yards, but he's run it only 68 times. He's averaging 7.2 yards a carry. Then behind him, of course, is DeAndre Swift, who is a true freshman. He's got it 42 times. He's averaging 8.5 times a carry. And I'll credit him this, too. I think a little bit of that is hey, after you dose them with Michelle and Chubb for 2 quarters, and then you turn this kid loose with fresh legs at 18 years old,
absolutely,
and he's a 5-star recruit, he's putting the finishing touches on. The running back by committee, would you rather see Kirby stick more with one running back or do what he's doing now?
No, I mean, everybody likes stats, and, Chubb won't, of course, get any national recognition for Heisman or anything like that, but I actually like
He's playing in the NFL either way.
Well, of course. And I think they've really bought into, week by week, and let's play as a team, win as a team, so who cares about
Well, when both of those kids came back this year, they proved they were team players. They didn't have to come back for their senior year.
No, and neither did the linebackers.
Yeah, either one of them could have gone into the pros and probably made a team this year. I think Chubb, in the back of his mind, maybe wanted to show he didn't have a fantastic year last year, and he wanted to come back and show he was at full speed. For the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, though, he was leading the conference in rushing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Like I said, then it's become running back by committee. So.
Well, and here's the key to me with Georgia. You haven't had a lot of guys hurt this year.
No.
You've had some nicks, but you hadn't had, guys hurt, and that helps to stay healthy in this conference. And Alabama's been able to do it because of their depth. Georgia's been able to do it, and they really haven't lost any steps yet. They got younger guys behind their guys, but they're quality, but they hadn't lost anybody for an extended period of time.
No, we've been, again, I'm knock on wood, been very fortunate with the injury bug so far. That's a huge part of this game, as we all know. But, I'm excited. I think, I literally think, I want to say that we're going to blow them out, but then again, we haven't beaten them in 3 years. And there's been lots of times we've had the better team and still lost. But this year, I think it's just a total different football team, to be honest with you. I think the way they're playing, the way they're coached, it's just, to me, it's just like night and day from last year.
No, I agree. And, I don't know what happened 2 years ago with the Paton Bowda thing.
Oh,
I'll never understand that.
I think we never will, yeah.
And of course, the loss last year, that was Kirby's first year. And
yep.
That kind of took a crazy turn in that game a couple of times, too. Florida, back-to-back East champions, and or 2, was it 3 years in a row, or
I guess it's 3.
Three years in a row. Yeah. It's not going to happen this year, though, Florida Gators. Okay, we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little more in depth about what we expect from Florida in this game and more about what we expect from Georgia. Your calls at 478-550-0524. We got BB Dog, Brett Barron, with us live on the set. You can see him Saturday afternoon right there on Facebook. Just go to Brett Barron, and he'll be, what time are you going on early?
Probably going to go about 2. Pre-game about 2.
About 2 o'clock. Okay.
Hopefully have several shows during
we got a lot more to talk about on Georgia-Florida weekend. You're listening to Gridiron Gab on DSBN Sports. We'll be back. We're live at Stoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. Hang on. We'll be back.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Stoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You'll immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Stoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh every day. Combine all that on the crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Stoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue.
It's football time in Middle Georgia, and that means it's time for the Macon Touchdown Club. Join us this year as we kick off our 72nd year at the Methodist Children's Home at 304 Pierce Avenue each and every Monday night. Come join us for a night filled of football fun and fellowship We kick it off September the 11th. The Macon Touchdown Club, honoring student athletes since 1946. To find out more, log on to MaconTouchdownClub.com.
Hey folks, it's Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. You know, there comes a time when we all start to look for a brand new or even a newer automobile, and as a consumer, your choices have always been limited as to where to shop, and secondly, what to do with your current car. Take it to the local dealer and trade it in for wholesale, ride around town with that ugly for sale sign in the back window, or park it in your driveway and hope somebody stops by and they're really there to look at your car. Well, that's where the fine folks at You Park 'em, You Sell 'em at 3306 Vineville Avenue in Macon come in. You Park 'em, You Sell 'em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For almost 18 years, You Park 'em, You Sell 'em has been the alternative to giving your car away to the local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market the car yourself. The professional staff at You Park 'em, You Sell 'em has 35 years of experience in the automobile industry, and they're there solely to help you through the process of selling or buying your next car. If you have a car and you're ready to sell it, let the folks at You Park 'em, You Sell 'em show you how to maximize your vehicle's marketing and financial potential today. You Park 'em, You Sell 'em, the car lot for you. Remember, folks, don't just park it, sell it. Give them a call today, 478-254-6310. That's You Park 'em, You Sell 'em.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority, now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
It's football time in Middle Georgia, and that means it's time for the Macon Touchdown Club. Join us this year as we kick off our 72nd year at the Methodist Children's Home at 304 Pierce Avenue each and every Monday night. Come join us for a night filled of football fun and fellowship. We kick it off September the 11th. The Macon Touchdown Club, honoring student athletes since 1946. To find out more, log on to MaconTouchdownClub.com.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
And welcome back on a Thursday night. We are live from Stoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. I want to remind you tomorrow night about our Stoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week. We'll be live at Jack Baines Field on the campus of Tatnall Square Academy, as it'll be the undefeated Stratford Eagles taking on the Tatnall Square Academy Trojans, who lost in their first game last weekend overtime with another crosstown rival, the FPD Vikings, 41-35. So they'll be trying to bounce back against Coach Mark Paraba and the Eagles, and that ought to be a pretty good game tomorrow night too, Brett.
I'll tell you what, I think it certainly should be. I was a little bit surprised. The FPD game was obviously a barn burner in overtime.
Yeah, it went to overtime, and FPD had the ball at the 2-yard line. All they had to do was kick a field goal to win it with 4 seconds left, and they snapped it, and they went through the holder's hand. And so Tatnall stopped them, and they go to overtime. First possession, overtime goes to Tatnall, first down at the 15. They drove it to the 7, and so they line up to kick the field goal to take the lead, snap it to the quarterback who's holding on the play. He drops it. He's putting it down on the ground.
Oh, my gosh.
FPD stops them. FPD gets the ball on the 15, and 4 plays later, Dalton Cox, their fine young quarterback, snuck it over, and that was the end of the game. So it was a wild and woolly shootout at Jack Baines last
so you'll
Friday.
Be there 2 weeks in a row, huh?
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. I mean, you got to get these big rivalry games in.
Oh, absolutely.
We want to thank Coach Spoons from Westside for coming in tonight and being our guest as well. The Seminoles, they'll take on Central tomorrow night at the Ed DePore Sports Complex as well. All right, we're going back to Georgia, Florida. We've got Brett Barron here, host of Dog Deck Live on Saturdays. He's with us here tonight. All right, so let's flip on the other side of the ball, and let's talk a little bit about this Florida Gators team. Just decimated with a few injuries, more decimated with problems in the program. They had 9 players suspended, most importantly, Scarlett, their starting running back, and Galloway, their their wideout, who were their two big production guys last year. They don't have them. They finally settled. Del Rio's gone for the year. Malik Zaire turned out to be a waste of a signing and a scholarship. He hasn't done anything, although I'm not going to say he couldn't. I don't think McElwain's opted not to use him, and we don't know why. So Felipe Franks is the guy they're going with. He's got 800 yards on the year. He's 68, 105, but he's only averaging 7.5 yards a pass, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. If you're a Florida fan, and I know that's hard for you to look at it from this perspective, what do they got to do Saturday against Georgia? Is there what's the key to their game?
If I'm McElwain, I want the ball first, and I want to score first for sure, no question about it.
Right, but just to put the momentum and the emotion into it.
Exactly. Because we're thinking it's going to be, and I don't know, I've heard some of this talked about on the social media front that a lot of the Florida fans have probably sold tickets, and there's going to be a lot more red in the stands than orange. And usually it's 50-50. I mean, this is, like I said, the world's largest great cocktail party, a great rivalry, neutral site, 50-50 down. But I think it's going to be about 75. Well, I don't know, 75-25.
60-40?
Yeah.
65-35? Yeah, you know, it was interesting. On another show today, I heard Coach Ray Goff interviewed. And I remember this back in the day. They used to do a quarter Georgia fans, a quarter Florida fans, quarter Georgia. Do it that way. And now I guess after Spurrier got down there, they wanted them separated because it got to be a little ugly down in Jacksonville, regardless of which side was winning or which was losing.
I sat there in every one in the 80s and several in the 90s. So, I haven't been in a long time, but I went to about 15 in a row.
So they separate them now, half the stadium, Georgia, half of it, Florida. I think you're right. I think it's going to be more of a home field advantage for Georgia. I think some of these Florida fans have given up the ghost and sold their tickets and pulled a Notre Dame. I think the dogs are salivating. They see blood in the water. What do you think about Jim McElwain's comment on Monday at the press conference? He came out and he said, I don't know the exact quote, but I'm going to paraphrase this, was somebody asked him a question about you feeling the heat, in essence. That was the question. He said, well, fans are passionate down here, but I don't understand the death threats against players and family and kids. And, I mean, you could have heard a pin drop in the room with the beat writers that were there. And then Florida announced, the administration, that after Coach McElwain's statement, we've had further conversation with him and cannot add anything else comment-wise at this time. Did he make this up? I mean, it obviously seems that way.
Again, I listen to that ESPNU radio just 24/7 when I'm driving around, and that's exactly what they think. Of course, again, they're media. But, yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And the guys won, 2 SEC or 3 SEC East?
In a row, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know. The SEC's getting a little bit crazy about the hot seat coaches, and there are going to be quite a few vacancies coming up soon, I think.
Well, and we got another pick in here. Mike Parker has picked Georgia 36-13. Let me check his scores here, and it looks like he's in at 36-13.
Good, we got a lot of scores. That's good.
Yeah, we got a lot of scores this week. So he's in at 36-13. Like I said, I've only got about 4 people picking Florida, and 3 of them are Florida grads. But is there anything Florida can do offensively that you've seen from them? I still think they have a decent defense.
Oh, there's no doubt.
I mean, they've got some guys hurt. They lost, they lost their number 1 big guy of the year in the middle, and I'm sorry I don't remember his name, but I don't think they can weather the storm.
No, I don't either. The defense, though, is pretty good defense, but I think we're going to be able to handle it. But to be honest with you, I haven't watched a lot of Florida football.
Right.
I guess they've been on, but I just haven't paid a lot.
Yeah, and I watched a little. I mean, I watched the Tennessee game. I watched the LSU game. I
would think they're probably not averaging much more than 14 points a game.
Yeah, they're kind of like Michigan. Michigan's got a stiff defense, but they just have got no. And let's face it, Felipe Franks was a highly sought-after recruit. A lot of people had this kid rated as a 5-star. Unlike Jake Fromm, who came in and seized the moment and was ready for the moment, whether he was or not, something clicked in that game against App State, and Fromm turned it on, and he's not turned it off since mentally. And I think the game's been a little too big for Franks. They went back and forth on quarterbacks. If you're Jim McElwain, how much are you missing Will Greer up at West Virginia?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's thrown 28, 29 touchdowns already. Now, I understand he's playing at West Virginia, and it's not the same caliber, but, that kid was a talented
kid. That's still big-time football.
Yeah, that's big-time football.
I think they showed a stat they were like 14 and 22 or something since he left, something like that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But, at the same time, he got caught supposedly taking a banned substance that he bought at GNC and mixed in a drink or a protein shake or something, and he came back positive. And I think the biggest problem is he kind of went to the coach and said, hey, no, this ain't going to work. You need to start me. And McElwain said, no, there's not but one big dog on this porch, and that's me.
That's what's going to happen eventually with us because, when – he comes in next year, you can't have 3 5-star quarterbacks. They can't all play.
No,
there's a four-year window at best, usually a 3-year window.
Right.
So, it's too much. Unfortunately, it's a bad problem, but that's just the reality of it.
Okay, going to get you in here, and I want you to get in and give me your thoughts on this game. Number one, how it's going to unfold in your mind, and then you can give us your final pick.
I, of course, want to be on defense first. That's just the way we stone people. We're playing lights out on defense, get like a 3 and out, and then just take it to them. I'm wanting to see if we can not necessarily do the flea flicker, but I want to get the play action going quick. Felt like a run to Chubb and then maybe a good pass by Fromm and lights out.
Yeah, important. I think if Georgia gets their first possession, let's assume Florida gets it and your defense stones walls them. Georgia gets it on the 18-yard line, 17-yard line after a punt or the 21, and they drive it 80, 85 yards on them. I think the game's over.
Their will will be broken.
Yeah, their will will be broken.
Didn't mean reference Will Greer. Their will be broken. That's what I feel like anyway.
In your before we get to your actual pick in the game, I was sitting there thinking at the office today doing some paperwork. I said, I know this game has got a crazy history, but I just got to look at this year and this year alone.
Right.
And I just the thought in my head was 41, 45, 47 to 6, 10, 7, or 13. That's the numbers I kept coming up with that Georgia's just so hungry to beat this football team. 6 and 21 over 27 years.
Awful.
And now you've got an opportunity to just shred them.
Right.
And
exactly. I'm surprised the line's as low as it is. It started at 14, and I think today it was 13. But still, that's a pretty big line for an SEC football.
SEC,
right, exactly.
Yeah, right.
But really, who knows? If we knew, we'd all be doing something else besides doing this. Right?
Yeah, we'd be living in Vegas, and the pool girl would be bringing us our Mai Tais.
Exactly.
But since that's not the case, my wife's down there eating pizza. That's good. Okay, so I
think I'm thinking it's going to be like a lot of our games. Probably interesting for a while, and hopefully we just pull away because we need to show people hey, if you want to get in that playoff, you got to show everybody every weekend how good you are. That's all there is to it.
All right, so now it comes down to the nut-cutting time, as they say. Your score on this game. How they get there in your final score.
Well, I kind of talked about how it began, and I think it will be I'm being, I think, a little conservative on this 31-10. Of course, that's a 21-point spread, which is well over the line. But hopefully that one will be penciled in there. You don't know what you got there. But
I think it's a good pick. I
just don't see them scoring a lot, and they've got a good enough defense, I think, to maybe limit us to that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if you pick 31 or 41, I don't think you could go wrong, but you don't want to go over to win the prize package.
That's true. I'll tell you, the worst part of this ball game is the other games that are on at the same freaking time. Penn State, Ohio State, Notre Dame, NC State. Man, that is just we're going to have to get a splitter and put other TVs out or something.
Okay, so let's talk about those games real quick before we get you out of here.
That's big landscape games right there. Buddy.
Okay, let's go back to last week. Your impressions of Penn State against Michigan.
Very well. Very good ball club.
Yeah.
Michigan lights out defense again. Florida no offense. No.
Yeah, Harbaugh is now 5-6 or 6-5 over his last 11 games. Listen, I'm sold on him as a coach. Maybe I shouldn't be. Have I bought too early?
Yeah, no, I think he's a good coach, but again, they don't have any offense.
This is year 2, right, for him?
No, I think it's 3. 3, at least 3.
Well, I had an interesting conversation with a friend, Bryant Longshore, that's in the Touchdown Club with a big Alabama guy. And he made a good point when you and I have all thought about this. Year 3 is, to me, where the coach turns the corner.
Right.
Now, it's usually not 1. It's usually not 2. 2, you'll see improvement. Year 3 is where they turn the corner. He's year 3. McElwain's year 3. McElwain turned the corner? Honestly, I can't say.
Me either, because the East has been so bad.
Because the East has been bad, and his football team's decimated.
But then again, you also, on the flip side of that, they go into this year 5 thing where you really have your total deal of recruiting classes.
Right.
So it's a profession. It's a hard one to be in.
All right, so Ohio State and Penn State, just for kicks, what you think?
I'd probably pick Ohio State because it's in the shoe. But I think it's going to be a great ball game.
I think it's going to be a great ball game, and I'm kind of leaning with you. Emotionally, Penn State's coming off that win, and James Franklin's a great coach. I think he's a very good coach. Think where Penn State was 3 years ago. 4 years ago. They were decimated. They were done.
Right.
That program was close to folding.
Absolutely.
And what he's done in 2.5 years, I don't care if the NCAA gave him a scholarship back or not. He had nothing, and he had to build it from nothing. And he's done that. But I think coming off the big emotional win on primetime on national TV, you got to go to Ohio State. They're going to dot that I with the band. And, Ohio State's got a good football team.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm agreeing with you. I think Ohio State is going to win that football game. Other big game this weekend
Notre Dame, NC State.
Notre Dame, NC State. I think NC State's got a good enough football team to play with them.
They got a great defense.
They got a great
defense. I think that'll be a heck of a ball. That could be the game of the weekend. Actually.
That one, I don't know which way to lean.
I'm gonna lean Notre Dame because I've seen them and they're just what they're doing. But then again, I mean, it's in South Bend, So.
Oh, okay. So I think I'd lean with you toward
Notre Dame. A little close lean there.
I'm going to say this, and y'all are going to think I'm crazy. Let me give you the upset of the weekend, and it's going to happen.
So there's going to be something, I feel like.
I can tell you right now the game that I'm picking. Georgia Tech is going to beat Clemson this weekend.
I would not be surprised.
That is the game that I'm picking, Georgia Tech.
Is it on the flats or over there?
The game is in Clemson,
I think it's in
believe.
Clemson.
I'm picking Georgia Tech to go out there and shock the world.
They could.
They've lost 2 close ball games in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah, the Miami game, absolutely.
Yeah, they should have won the Miami game.
And the good thing about that one's at 8 o'clock, so at least we can watch that after our game.
That's right. That's really my only upset. I just got a feeling about that game. Now, the Tech may go over there and, just lay an egg, but I just got a feeling that's going to be a good game. And I'm picking Tech as the upset of the weekend. I don't think Ohio State beating Penn State at the Horseshoe is that huge of an upset. The experts may call it that, but I think
it's 3 against 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a flip of the coin on that game. NC State, Notre Dame. Now, if NC State goes and beats Notre Dame, a little bit of an upset.
Yeah, you got 13 against 9 in South Bend. Yep.
Yeah, and so and I think this will be the biggest challenge. I'll tell you, the Notre Dame USC game, I think USC has kind of fell off since the first.
Oh, they're decimated. You're talking about Florida being decimated?
Yeah.
They're buried. But still, it was 45-14, and I watched most of it. It was shellacking. I mean, there's.
Yeah, I think USC is not the team they were touted to be to start the year, and it's college football, and there's only so many scholarships, and I thought we kidded about we're talking on the phone that. Basically, Florida looks like a damn Division II team right now with all the suspensions and the starters out. I mean, they're down to 59 scholarships.
Oh, yeah, when they run on the field Saturday, it's going to look, what is this, a high school team?
Yeah, 59 scholarship guys dressing out, but still got to line it up and play it. But my upset of the week, I'm picking Georgia Tech over Clemson. Y'all give me crap next week if I don't get it right, but that's my upset of the week. Well, that's about it. What about your Falcons?
Oh, my
Boo.
gosh. I'm close.
I can't believe you're watching pro football. I'm
a football man.
Yeah,
matter of fact, there's 3 or 4 college games tonight. I don't think anybody worth anything.
Right.
I may watch some of that NFL game. I don't know. Or even I watched the World Series.
Yeah, I gave up on baseball in '94 too.
Oh,
but hey, the first two games been 100 degrees out there. The hottest two World Series games in history.
Yeah. Old NL West division rivals playing against each other.
That's right. Okay, so final thoughts on Georgia, Florida.
Yeah, it's just time to do it. Go down there and take care of business, man. One game at a time. I think they really will. Look forward to it. Can't wait.
Don't want to talk about Alabama and Georgia yet?
No.
You going to wait a little bit?
I'm looking at him saying no.
Yeah,
I love that. Or that sign at one of the SEC things.
A live call-in show as well. It'll be a lot of fun. It's a blast on Saturdays because it's not quite as subdued as this show is. There's a little bit more activity going on the Dog Deck Live than there is here. But, all right, you're picking the Dogs by a score of 31-10.
31-10.
I think they get it done. It's a big weekend for Georgia. Maybe to get that Florida monkey off their back. Finally.
Man, we hope so. Hey, we appreciate everything you do for this community, man, on this football stuff.
I love doing it. Love having you a part of it. You know, we have a blast during this time of year. We'll just say, well, now when we get through with all this, now we'll have to get into hockey and the making bacon too.
There you go.
All right, we're going to take a timeout and then we'll wrap it up from Stoner's Pizza
Go
here
Dogs.
on Forsyth Road. Brett Barron has been our guest here with us. If you'll hold on to that headset before you take it off, we'll be back after this timeout. And your calls, 478-550-0524. We'll be back.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue.
It's football time in Middle Georgia, and that means it's time for the Macon Touchdown Club. Join us this year as we kick off our 72nd year at the Methodist Children's Home at 304 Pierce Avenue each and every Monday night. Come join us for a night filled of football fun and fellowship. We kick it off September the 11th. The Macon Touchdown Club, honoring student athletes since 1946. To find out more, log on to MaconTouchdownClub.com.
Hey folks, it's Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. You know, there comes a time when we all start to look for a brand new or even a newer automobile, and as a consumer, your choices have always been limited as to where to shop, and secondly, what to do with your current car. Take it to the local dealer and trade it in for wholesale, ride around town with that ugly for sale sign in the back window, or park it in your driveway and hope somebody stops by and they're really there to look at your car. Well, that's where the fine folks at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue in Macon come in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For almost 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the alternative to giving your car away to the local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market the car yourself. The professional staff at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has 35 years of experience in the automobile industry, and they're there solely to help you through the process of selling or buying your next car. If you have a car and you're ready to sell it, let the folks at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em show you how to maximize your vehicle's marketing and financial potential today. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, the car lot for you. Remember, folks, don't just park it, sell it. Give them a call today, 478-254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority, now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
I've always wanted this. You have too.
It's waiting to be unleashed.
It's in all of us. You just have to find it. Greatness. It's where your dreams and passions become reality.
Greatness is where your hard work and dedication pay off.
Greatness. It's shaking hands with your future. Middle Georgia State University. Find your greatness.
This just in. A large storm in the Gulf has all but decimated the entire Gulf shrimping industry, with the exception of a lone shrimping boat manned by a legless veteran and a young gentleman that hasn't stopped waving at our cameras or telling us his mama's advice. Odd. In completely unrelated news, Kudzu Seafood Company, the authentic Gulf Coast seafood restaurant that brought the coast to Middle Georgia, has also cornered the shrimp market in Central Georgia. Barbecue shrimp and cheese grits, buffalo shrimp, firecracker shrimp tacos, shrimp po' boys, shrimp burgers, shrimp baskets, and Dr. Pepper, all on 3rd Street in downtown Macon. Stay tuned for more breaking news.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Stoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You'll immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Stoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh every day. Combine all that on the crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Stoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
And welcome back on a Thursday night. We want to thank all our guests. We want to thank Coach Cedric Risper from the Westside Seminoles as they play their big crosstown rivalry game this Friday. They'll play the Central Chargers. That game will be at the Ed DePore Sports Complex, and that game starts at 7:30. Big upset for them last week is 6-1 Pike County came in, and the Seminoles on 4th and goal from the 1 stopped them and sealed the victory, and that puts them in sole possession of second place right now in their region. Don't forget our Stoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week tomorrow night as part of the 5-mile rivalry. Last two weeks it's been FPD Stratford. Last week it was Tattle and FPD. This week it will close out the region play and they'll get ready for the crossover game. It will be the Stratford Academy Eagles. Mark Farabah and his crew will come in with an undefeated record, and they will take on the Tattle Square Academy Trojans live from Jack Baines Field on the campus of Tattle Square tomorrow night. We want to thank all of our sponsors, of course, Stoner's Pizza, You Park 'em, You Sell 'em, Kudzu Seafood, Texas Border Grill, Apparel Authority, Pawn Max Incorporated, the Macon Touchdown Club, BT Media Productions. Darius stepping in tonight to be our production man, did a great job. He'll be with us live from the stadium tomorrow night, all the kids at Middle Georgia State University to help make this happen every week. Well, it's a big weekend for the Georgia fans. It's the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, and that was our pick-em contest this week. You still got time to get your pick in. Just go visit us on Facebook at DSBN Sports, and you can message your pick in right there. We appreciate everybody watching. Pre-game tomorrow night will be at 7:15 for the Stoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week. We'll be live from Tatnall. We'll see you tomorrow night, everybody. It's a big weekend for Georgia and Florida. We'll see how it washes out. We'll talk to you about it on Thursday of next week. That's going to do it for our show tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your calls. Appreciate you guys every week, as we said. We'll see you tomorrow night live from the stadium. Our time is up. We thank you for yours.